For the second year in a row, our friends up north in Canada are getting a brand new launch coaster. Only this time, it's going to the Toronto area. We'll talk about this new Scream machine that's headed to the largest park in the nation, and we'll also take a look at a place where you could be among legends of the ice, as we look for a new way to coast with culture. Hey everybody, I'm Gary from Coast with Culture, and I want to thank you for joining for another new way to coast with culture, as we take a look at the new attractions of 2025 and then find things that we could add to our visit to that park to ride that new coaster in true Coasting with Culture style. And this week, it's all about AlpenFury, the newest Scream machine coming to Canada's Wonderland up in Vaughan, Ontario, Canada. This will be the fourth attraction of Canada's Wonderland to interact with its signature Wonder Mountain, the icon of the park that you see at the end of the midway when you enter the park. It's going to be joining Vortex, the suspended aero coaster, Wonder Mountain Guardian, the dark ride from Triotech, and the Blauer Eisen powered coaster from Mach called Thunder Run. Now this new coaster coming from Premier, I'm not going to lie, it looks really good. Now I will say that seeing this ride makes me a little nostalgic for Volcano. And between you and me, I kind of wish this was the one that was going to King's Dominion, just because of the fact that this is basically Volcano 2.0. But it does make sense when you consider the fact that Canada's Wonderland has their mountain and King's Dominion doesn't. So, that mountain's a little bit of a necessity. Now, as far as the ride goes, it looks pretty good. Right off the bat, you got the inverted top hat as you go out of the mountain. And as you come out of it, you're doing over a 180-degree rotation to make that turn toward the left, where you begin to make your way over to the front of the park. And then you're going into that second inversion, which has some sweet hang time potential. And after that, it's the turnaround that looks like a fun mix of a treble clef and a dive loop. It's almost as if they took the turnaround of Full Throttle where it goes into the tunnel and it stops, but they took a little bit of inspiration from Fury 325. That looks like a fun element. And then after that, you got an inversion right after that looks like a stretched out Cobra roll. It almost reminds me of what you see with Max Force, but on a much smaller scale. And while I haven't had a chance to try Max Force myself at Six Flags Great America, I think this would be a fun element. Then you've got two pretty quick successive barrel rolls. They look like they're fairly standard barrel rolls, but they have only a little bit of a gap between them, so they should go pretty quick. And then you've got a nice quick pop of airtime, which Premier does do airtime pretty well. And then you got the barrel roll that goes right over the first drop of Vortex. If you're on AlpenFury as you're going through the inversion, it's not like you're going to be able to look down at the passengers in the train because the track's kind of in the way. But it could make for a neat head chopper for those who are on AlpenFury. And while I could see where some folks are coming with the whole, it's just barrel roll after barrel roll after barrel roll, I think there's enough variation in the way that it enters or exits out of it and how they kind of combine different elements together that it's not going to be quite as repetitive as people think. And I think it's got the potential to be a show stealer. While you still have Leviathan and Behemoth as well as Yukon Striker, I think there's a world in which this could be the best coaster in the park. Obviously, it's going to be hard to tell for sure until actually having the opportunity to ride it. But in my past experience with Premier-based launch coasters, they've always been pretty fun rides. Now, of course, if you find yourself going up to Vaughan, Ontario to experience Canada's Wonderland and try out AlpenFury, we got to find something to do to make it a coasting with culture experience. And for me, while I have been to Toronto, there is one place I didn't get a chance to go to during my visit there, and I really wish I had. But it is definitely on my list for a future visit. If anybody has followed the channel, I had a special series where I covered the debut of the Seattle Kraken between special events before they had their first preseason game, getting a chance to see them play a preseason game in Everett, then going down to Las Vegas for their debut against the Golden Knights, and finally getting a chance to see the home opener in Seattle as they took on Vancouver. I'm a little bit of a hockey fan. Been to quite a few games between the Kraken, the Seattle Thunderbirds, the Everett Silvertips, the Carolina Hurricanes when I lived in North Carolina, and if there's one place I should have included in my visit to Canada when I was there a couple years ago, the Hockey Hall of Fame. Getting to see all of the legends that have played the sport would be incredible. Getting to see some of the equipment that they've used over the years, the jerseys they've worn, especially for guys who I've had the opportunity to see take the ice, such as Mario Lemieux, Martin St. Louis, Marty Brodeur, and of course one of my personal favorites, Ron Francis, who was the captain of the Hurricanes when I first got into hockey, and now serves as the general manager of the Seattle Kraken. But one of the other things I think would be really cool to get to see would be the room with all the different trophies, the awards that are given to the different players: Best Defensive Player, Rookie of the Year, Best Offensive Player, Best Goaltender. And because the Hall of Fame occupies a former bank, inside the vault is the exhibit dedicated to Lord Stanley's Cup, one of the most prestigious trophies in all of professional sports. Getting to see the original Stanley Cup would be incredible, especially because of a local connection to Lord Stanley's Cup, because in 1917, the Seattle Metropolitans were the first team from the United States to win this prestigious trophy. And so getting to see their name on the cup itself would be awesome. I also would get a huge kick out of getting to see the goalie mask collection, as they show some of the great artwork on goalie masks over the years. Plus, you have these interactive experiences where you get to find out what it would be like to face down an NHL goaltender and try to score a goal on him, or have the opportunity to block a shot. As a fan of the greatest sport on ice, it would be excellent getting the opportunity to visit the Hockey Hall of Fame. But what do you think about AlpenFury? Do you think it has the possibility to be as good of a coaster as I think it does? And have you been to the Hockey Hall of Fame? Is it as cool as I anticipate that it would be? Along with the Hockey Hall of Fame, what other attractions do you think people might want to visit? I'd love to see what you have to say in the comment section down below. And so as you visit Ontario in 2025, you can head to Canada's Wonderland to check out the brand new AlpenFury coaster, while also getting to enjoy the prestige and honor of the Hockey Hall of Fame. And to me, that sounds like an excellent new way to coast with culture. Thank you for watching this video from Coasting with Culture. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and click on the subscribe button to see future videos here on YouTube, like these ones which you may enjoy as well. Additional content can be found at coastingwithculture.com, and you can also follow Coasting with Culture on various social media channels at CoastWCulture for announcements, previews, and updates. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, take care and safe travels.